Electrocast.
Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Welcome into Missing the Point. I'm your host, Michael Marcangelo, joined alongside by my guy, Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan. And we get a little special guest on this week's show. The real BK, Bob Kelly, is here to help us digest what we saw on Sunday and talk about the Patriots versus the Cowboys coming up, this coming Sunday. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to the Cowboys' epic defeat as well. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the Patriots versus the Jets. For the 15th consecutive regular season game, the Patriots beat the Jets 15-10. If that score sounds ugly, it's because it was. It was a terrible fucking football game to watch. But let's just start off with overall thoughts. Bobby, it's your first appearance on this little Patriots recap show. So tell me what you thought of this game between the Patriots and the Jets on Sunday.
So honestly, what stood out to me, it's funny, it's a Patriots show because what stood out to me is the Jets, how fucking bad, how bad they really are, man. Like that offense is just atrocious. I sent into the group to you guys like multiple times. I completely missed the Jets possession. Like I was watching the past Jets game because, I knew I was going to be on with you guys. So it was like one of my main TVs, and the Jets would get the ball. I'd see them receive it and I'd be like, oh, okay, Jets have the ball. And like something would happen over here. And I'd look back and the Jets were punting. And it was like literally 45 seconds. I'm like, how the fuck is that possible? Then you guys, I don't know what the hell happened. Like, it seemed like you guys had the control of that game. And then all of a sudden, it was the fourth quarter, and the Jets were driving to possibly take the lead. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Are they really going to lose to this team? The Pats are just kind of mid. Mac Jones is kind of mid. There's just a lot of mid going on in New England. And it's just, it's frustrating because you've seen the team that they can build. So it's just frustrating to see this team just constantly shoot themselves in the foot and constantly be average because their coach should be much better than that. But I just think, I don't know if it's the talent, the quarterback, what it is, but it just feels very average. It is the takeaway I took from it all.
Before we get over to Ray, Bobby typed, wow, the Jets are really fast, huh? And then like I see him still typing and he goes, I meant their possessions. Their possessions are, yeah, it's over within a blink of an eye. But Ray,
it's so fast.
Overall thoughts of on this game.
I mean, just glad that they actually won a game. I mean, I know that we spoke last week saying that it really wasn't a lock for this to happen, and I got some text saying, oh, you guys are over exaggerating, it's overreaction Mondays, da da da. And I'm like, look, man, you can call it whatever you want to call, but that was the real thing coming in to this week. And once again, it almost displayed itself in the game for them to only win by 5. And, once again, thank God that Judon got to Zach Wilson in the end zone to basically steal the game. But it was wild that they, like Bobby said, like they literally had a chance to win the game, with the 4-minute offense. So I'm glad they won. I'm glad that, at least the offense looked like an offense in the first half. The second half looked a lot different. Obviously, your boy Zeke, Mike, finally looked decent in the game. 5 yards of carry looked beautiful. I was like, oh my, just ready, just in time for Sunday, baby. Because I hope Eagles fucking off on Sunday, but we'll get into that. But yeah, so I love what the team did to get 150 altogether, or around 150.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I want Ramondre Stevenson to remember that he can fucking catch a football. But other than that, I'm just glad that we got the win, and they still have a long way to go. But once again, 1 and 2 is better than 0 and 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how much, my next question was going to be like, how much positives do you think we should all take as Patriot fans from this win? And as I'm, as I'm thinking about it, it's just so wild to me that the narrative, and I think it's justified, is, the Jets team is terrible. Obviously, like they don't have a quarterback. Again, true. But this is the same defense that beat Josh Allen and the Bills. And now we're talking about it like it's all, they suck, and we shouldn't feel that positive about this game. I mean, I think the one positive thing that we can take away from this would be, and I'll lead off. I think it's still Christian Gonzalez. 3 weeks into it, you can put him on an opposing team's number one, and you really don't have to worry. Now, the caveat there is the opposing team's number one is Tyreek Hill. Of course, you're going to have to fucking worry.
But he shut him down at week 2.
He held his own. He held his own. Yeah.
You see the help. Oh, it's not like, and we just saw what happened Sunday. So I'm just saying,
it wasn't. The caveat though is that it wasn't one-on-one. I'm saying like one-on-one, you can put him without help over the top on your opposing team's number one, and he's gonna do work. But again, for a rookie to do what he did to Tyreek in week 2 was amazing. Was there any other one positive thing that you would take away from this game as an outsider, Bobby? If you could give the Patriots a positive, what would it be?
Yeah. So Christian Gonzalez is my positive 100%. He stands out when you watch the Patriots. It's very clear that he's not just like a good rookie cornerback. He's just a good cornerback. You know what I mean? Like, period. And Tyreek Hill giving him actual props and credit too after that game just goes to show what kind of ability that kid actually has. Other than that, man, I mean, I just really worry about this offense because this is 2 straight years. This isn't, Matt Patricia's fault. This isn't, you can't blame this really on anything except for, the coaches and the players. It's 2 years now. So this is the head coaching. This is the scheming. This is everything. And it's just like, I know what you said. I get what you said about the Jets, man. I do. But that first week is going to be one of those wins that you look back week 1, I think. And it's like, it's really weird that the 2-14 Jets beat the 13-3 Bills in week 1, isn't it? It's just the Jets are really bad. And I think another positive for you guys is you got this win, and now you have a very tough stretch. So I think this was a very, very important win because I think if you didn't, rock bottom wasn't far away. You know what I mean? Like, I think the skies were about to be burning in New England. If I know New England sports radio, if they're not already by only winning 15-10, the skies were about to be on fire if they lost that game. Like, everyone's name was going to be on the chopping block if that game went down a different way.
Yeah, let me be clear. If they had came back to Logan last night, because it's only a 40-minute New York, so like Jersey, whatever. If they came back 0-3, my thing is don't even let them off the landing strip at Logan. You don't deserve to get back to Gillette Stadium if you come back 0-3, losing to that team. I don't care if it was 17-16. I don't care if it was 10-3, like how it was last year. I'm good. I lost to the Jets at this point. That would have cemented it as being rock bottom, and you would have heard all day on every outlet saying, "Hey, is it time to let go of Bill?" And once again, we've heard this before. Like I think about back to 2014. That's the most prevalent one when they start 2-2. Kansas City demolishes them on Monday Night Football, 41-14. Oh, it's just the end. They fucked around and went 12 straight. and you know what I'm saying? So it's just like we've seen it. Obviously, it's a whole different roster, obviously. But at some point, the players have to take pride. We can say it's Bill. We can say it's both Bills, right? We can say it's O'Brien. We can say it's Belichick. We can say it's Steve Belichick. We can say it's Jerome Mayo. At some point, the players have to take pride and say, you know what? We're the guys that have to execute. We're the guys that got to go in here and dominate. And the fact that outside of maybe 2 or 3 drives in the first half, meaning talk about offensively, they just looked inept. Even on that play to Pharaoh Brown, right? That play happened, well, because of play action. Once again, they are very elite. Now, I won't say elite. They're very good when the running is happening because the play action is where Mac looks the best. Sauce Gardner looked like he was stuck in cement. And then Pharaoh Brown was able to break away for a 58-yard touchdown, and he's probably going to get cut. If you saw the video after, but we know Robert Kraft for what, so he's probably going to get cut before Sunday. Just saying. But it was cool to see a long run. That was like, oh my god, is that
an explosive play? An explosive play?
Like, oh my god! Like with on the play action, was that a nice pitch and catch for more than 10 yards? Like that warmed my heart for 30 seconds. Like I went to go get popcorn, and I heard Jim Nair say, "Oh, it's a touchdown in the pitch." That was like a touchdown in the first half. Like, that is unbelievable. So, quick moment of joy. But like I said, it was the fact that I was on pins and needles in the second half is wild, but it is what it is.
Rayshawn, I was actually, I was just going to say, I was thinking about you for that entire second half because I could just picture you weren't saying anything. So it was like, Rayshawn is not in a good place right now.
No.
When the Jets got that ball back, I was like, Rayshawn is just on fire at the moment. I was literally thinking about you.
Yeah, because to add to that, right? Because other people texted me, because I even in another group that I'm in, I didn't say anything in either, and it was like, "Yo, like everything fine." I'm like, "Yo, it's cool." I'm waiting to the end to unleash, because I'm telling you, if we lose this fucking game, I'm going on every platform. I don't care if it's going on the MTP Twitter, my own personal Twitter, on Facebook, whatever, Twitch, you name it, whatever platform we were on, I was gonna go on the rant. And it wouldn't matter about Mike texting me saying, "Hey, are we taping tonight?" I'd be like, "No, I'm going on the rant right fucking now. Forget about tomorrow night. I'm doing it tonight." So we hold on for another week.
So we avoided disaster and probably what would be we missed out on a glorious rant by Ray. But to Bobby's original point, like when we look mid, and you said that we look inept, Ray. But isn't it possible that this is exactly what we talked about all offseason when we said they're going to look better? And when I mean that, I do think that that the offense looks functional. It's just hard for me to like, I sound like a man when I'm really opposite, but it's really hard for me to go after him when he doesn't have time to fucking throw. And everyone will say, "Well, he's only been sacked like 3 times this year." Yeah, it's because he's getting rid of the ball real fucking fast, or he's scrambling. But the offense looks schematically like if they could actually run block or pass block, they could put up. I don't know, like
the ball. Just catch
yeah,
the ball.
or just catch the ball. Like,
maybe Juju can't fucking catch all of a sudden.
He looks so slow too. He looks like
but at least catch the ball.
Walking,
you be slow, Bobby. That's fine. I listen. I'm not asking for much right now. I just want you to catch the ball. So
it's a low bar.
6 yards. Here's the 6 yards, bro. Catch that shit. Lay down. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. But the fact that it's literally hitting you in your hand, or it's hitting you in your chest, and then it's going up, or it's falling to the ground, it's going out of bounds. Like, I think there's about 3 first downs that Ramondre Stevenson would have had if he legit turned around, caught it, and just ran. Because once again, he's hard to tackle, and he's by far our best offensive player. So I don't know. I just want people to catch the ball. Like that to me, that's the last part of the functioning offense that Mike is alluding to. Catch the ball, so we can actually see some productive plays down the field. That's all I want. That's it.
So that leads us to the next thing, though. And Bobby, you already hit on this. But if you're just focusing on Mac, right? I would say the overall consensus of this game was that he looked good, not great. What I will, however, just add to it before I ask like your thoughts on it is the Jets strike me as a defense that will take advantage of the mistakes that you make. The very easy way to beat them is to not put yourself in a shitty position. Mac had one throw that I thought should have easily been picked off. I think it was CJ Mosley. It went right through his hands. Other than that, he played pretty mistake free. So how would you grade him in this game? And then for you, Bobby, like thus far, because we haven't really talked to you about him all year.
So I think you guys know I love Matt coming out of college. I thought he, made throws, thought he had the right head on his shoulders. what worries me about him is I heard someone else say this week, and I thought it was a really good point, is like when the game's on the line or when things you need Mac to make a throw. You know what I mean? You need him to really step up. He seems to wither. And that's really worrisome for a young quarterback to like not embrace that moment. And at least I'm not saying every time, man. I get it.
Yeah.
The NFL is a very hard league. Every once in a while, you got to make at least one play that everyone's like, wow. Wow, that guy's got it. He's got something, even if we have weapons around him, I think he could take that next level. I just haven't seen that in a while. I think it's his rookie year. He had a few throws like that, but like ever since, man, it just seems like even yesterday, what I mean? He had the chance to put that game away three separate times, and he couldn't get the job done. And he had to rely on Matt Judon making that play at the end of the game to cap it off. And I mean, it's amazing that they have these kind of guys that can do that, like the Judon on defense, these type of dudes. But like every once in a while, if you're gonna be an elite quarterback, if you're gonna take a team to that next level, you got to do something that's like, all right, there it is. That's why he's our guy. And I just haven't seen that from that. That's my overall consensus. So I'd say like a C+, B-. B- of him being very nice.
Good, right?
Yeah, there's no way I can't go above a C+.
Yeah, C+ is, yeah.
That's not. Once again, I might have given a B- if they had to beat Miami last week, whatever. But like, nah, I can't. And once again, that's I keep harping on this. It's been 3 years. We still have not had a signature moment from him.
Yeah, you need it.
Like you cannot name. And I think someone said it. I don't know if it was someone that said it on our Twitter page, but I think it might have been DK that sent it to us in the group chat. It was like, oh, Bill Simmons sent it. Mac Jones highlight reel for clutch moments would be 23 seconds, and I'm like, wouldn't even be that long. It might be 11 seconds. Might be. Like,
I think there was that one throw he made, like I think it was like his third game. That's like the one thing I can remember where I can be like, "Wow, that was amazing."
He made some plays. I mean, like I think the first game he played against Miami a couple years back, he made some throws to James White. He throws the seam route really well, which makes sense to him being a part of Bill O'Brien's offense. But like, you just can't go to a game once again, and it's only because they lost it. Like, there's certain games that he would have had the signature moment, but they lost the game. The Dallas game a couple years ago, that would have been a signature moment. The Minnesota game last year, they lose that game on Thanksgiving. And then, the Baltimore game last year. So, and I've said it on the show before. So I'm just like, those are 3 games right there. You know, okay, maybe we have something there, but because they didn't win the game, or he didn't make the plays that he needed to make at the end of those games, we look at him differently. So yeah, he's not the reason why they've lost everything, but once again, he's not going to be the reason, as Mike would say, the reason why you're going to win the game either. And that has to change in order for the narrative about this Patriot team to change in the future.
Can I add one more thing to it?
Sure.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna. It's not a place you want to be in the NFL. If I'm being perfectly honest, like this even like above average. Like average is really tough to try and build a team around, but even like above average, like I think back to my Tony Romo era, man. It was like even he wasn't enough to get above the hump. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard to win in the NFL, especially if you don't have someone elite at the quarterback position. Even if you have someone elite, it's still hard. If you have an average to above average quarterback, it's next to impossible, man. You better have something else on your team that's like, whoa, that's amazing. Like the Ravens defense back in the day, or like, you know what I mean? Or like the Steelers defense, or, I guess they had Aaron Rodgers then, but he wasn't that great even when they first won one. So, you know what I mean? Like there's just, if you're going to have an average quarterback, you better have something else that stands out.
It's like, yo, just be Trent Dilfer at this moment.
Right.
Trent Dilfer,
right.
Be Brad Johnson, be Matt Hasselbeck. You name, and I'm talking. Matt Hasselbeck didn't win it, but like he went to the Super Bowl. Like just be.
Yep.
That's all we ask. Like you don't have to be Elway. You don't have to be Marino. You don't have to be brave. Like just be somebody that can just be serviceable enough to get us to where we need to go. Because once again, this defense is this after we saw what happened to Denver yesterday, and they allowing fucking 70 points, and we held that team to 24, and all their points wasn't on offense. This defense clearly is better than what we think. The offense needs to wake the fuck up. Like that's where we are. Like that, yeah. When I saw, I said, you know what? Let me breathe for a second. So I said, oh my God. I said 70 points. You beat a team by fucking 50? 50! 5-0! 5-0, 50 points. Like that. Yeah. That's hard to live. That can't fucking happen. And I know this is a Power Ranking show, so I'm not gonna get into all that, but damn. Like, it's wild. It's wild. So
It was literally bad.
they gave me
10 touchdowns.
about this Patriot defense. So
So we're talking about like average or above average quarterbacks.
yeah.
I think perfect segue. How is Zach Wilson so bad?
Oh, okay. I thought you were about
How?
to start talking about Dak.
No. How is Zach?
We don't get that.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. But buddy, how is Zach Wilson in year 3 this fucking terrible? Still,
He's
how?
just bad. He's just not a good quarterback, man. Just period. I honestly feel bad for the guy because, like, I feel like he was relieved. He was so happy that Aaron Rodgers came to town and he didn't have to go through this again. And he could be a backup and like try and learn the ropes. And then all of a sudden, 4 fucking plays in, all of a sudden he's starting again. He's like, oh, shit. Yeah, no, he's really bad. He's just a really bad quarterback, man.
He's like one of those people that just wants to be on the team, but doesn't actually want to do anything for the team.
Yeah,
You know?
his number one play is a rollout to the right where he throws it out of bounds 30 yards. That's the number one thing I see from Zach Wilson. It is like he's excellent at getting rid of the ball. Period.
So honestly, I mean, obviously, there's nothing to really speak of positively when it comes to as far as his game, anyways. And I mean, from what we've seen or heard, like he's not the greatest locker room guy either. So at some point, he just needs to grow up, right? And I'm not sure. Like playing in New York is hard, anyways. But when you're doing good, so I can only imagine when you're subpar is not even a word. I'm being nice saying subpar, but when you're trash like that as he is on the football field, it's hard to be in that outlet. So I do think he would benefit from a change of scenery. I know that they tried to do that with Sam Darnold a couple years ago, but I do think there's always a team that can say, "Oh, we'll use him as a reclamation project." Once again, I do think he has a good arm. I do think that he is mobile. But I think what happens is, if I can get serious without trolling him for a minute, but I think so. And you know me, I always gotta bring up something basketball related, especially having Bobby on the show. I'll appreciate this. So Isaiah Thomas talked about this on a show called NBA Open Court, where he said you could have all the talent, all the skill, right? But if you don't have a coach that can coach from the neck up, meaning coaching to your mental, coaching you through situational awareness, so to speak. I mean, I'm paraphrasing because he was more eloquent than I'm saying it right now, but that's where the shift has to change. And he's had multiple coaches. Maybe he had coaches that really didn't believe in him right away. So I do think he needs to go to somewhere that's going to say, you know what, you still have something there, but we got to rework everything that's been going on, with you mentally, because once again, the talent's there, the reason why you win number 2 overall, but there's something missing upstairs. And I think if whoever the next coach is for him can coach to that mental aspect of the game for him and have him think through the game, then he might unlock something. It just won't be in a Jets uniform. And I don't know, but it's definitely not a Jets uniform, but it's just a matter of, I don't know who's going to take that flyer on him to even see if that's actually going to be a thing. Because I don't know too many coaches that would have that patience. I actually think, just off on the whim, I actually think some place like the LA Rams would be good. I think him learning from someone like McVay, because once again, he made golf serviceable. Like we can say we want about what golf has become. Golf once again got them to a Super Bowl, and he's played very well in his career thus far. After being in a more pick and was kind of teeter-tottering over in LA. So I just feel like maybe he could be like a Jared Goff type, where he can get to that level. because people were shaky about him early on in his career, but he has to leave New York immediately.
How
Yeah.
hard do you think it is for him to try and come back and be that guy for a team that has players that were repping his backups his shirt last year? They had like the start Mike White shirt.
Let's go, Mike. That's crazy.
And then his GM goes out and says, we believe in you so much, Zach Wilson, that we're going to trade for Aaron Rodgers. And we're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers, handpicked offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett. And now, like, to Bobby's point, 4 snaps in, and now Zach has to go back in and try and be the leader of this team. Like, that's a fucking disaster.
Yep.
Let's remind everyone too that the Jets were literally wearing T-shirts for Mike fucking White last year. And Mike White's not fucking lighting any worlds on fire. I can tell you that.
I feel like you're doing this on purpose, Bobby. I really just feel like you're doing this on purpose.
Am I taking it right out of your brain?
No, I just said it. Leave me out of my fucking brain. I said it 10 seconds before you did.
You said the Mike White thing. I'm sorry.
Yes.
My baby's crying in the next shirt.
Take it out of your brain. Yeah, Bobby. You read me like a book.
I literally didn't hear you say Mike White. I heard everything else. That's 2 in a row. It's two shows in a row. It's 2 in a row.
It's like the prototype of a Bobby and Mike show right there. So that is.
It really is.
No?
It's good. It's good. It's like we haven't lost it at all. I might have lost it a little bit, but I mean, that's besides.
When do you think that they pull the plug on him? Like, or do they? Or do they just ride it out? Do they just ride this out with him?
It's not even soon though. So I just feel like inside the NBA moment, I'm having a Shaquille O'Neal moment. Oh, come on, Ernie.
Who am I? Am I Kenny? Am I Charles? I'm fucking Charles.
You're Charles.
Charles, aren't I?
Yeah.
Fuck. God damn. Okay.
Oh God. Okay.
Just hit me like a ton of bricks. It was like, I'm fucking Charles.
Oh yeah.
Barkley. God damn it. I'm definitely Barkley.
It's got to be soon though. It's got to be soon. It can't be like by week 8. It needs to happen.
It's now or never. I mean, you give a team this talented, this quarterback for 4 or 5 weeks, they're done. They might already be done after the last 2 weeks. I mean, you saw the tweets and stuff going out last week, man. I mean, you can't have this much talent and have a quarterback that literally wastes it. He does negative for your team, period. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing positive that Zach Wilson does for your football team. So you got to do something, because Salah's gonna lose everything if he doesn't replace him, in my opinion.
Yep, totally agree.
All right. So 2 last questions about this game. Ray, was it more of the Patriots offense is inept, or that the Jets defense was really good because the Patriots never had one possession where they went past the 27-yard line of the New York Jets?
Probably a mix of both, honestly. I think that the Jets defense is still really good, like we alluded to earlier in the show. I just think it gets lost in the shuffle because of how bad their offense looked at times, meaning the Jets. And then with us, like we just can't get out of our own way. And we don't. Once again, the play calls look good when they're like I said, schematically it looks good. But when your biggest play really came off a breakdown, once again, we'll take what we can get. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and complain about that. That's how your play is happening. It's not really a good look. So I just think they just really need to focus on some more fundamental, once again, situational football. It's something that we've heard about here for 20 plus years. They need to get better in those moments, whether it's a 2-minute warning, 2-minute football, 4-minute, situation football. So there's a lot of things they need to work on in order to become at least a top 10, top 12 offense. Once again, I think they're like 13th or 14th in passing. Oh no, I'm sorry, they're top 10 in passing, but they're like 20th in rushing. So they're like in the middle of the pack. So they can get up to about 9 or 10 overall. Then I'll take that. That would be a far cry from what they were, last year and maybe even the year before, if we're being honest. So yeah, a little bit of ineptness, a little bit of, the defense they're facing. Once again, they're facing a hell of a defense come Sunday. So they better get their mind right, or it's going to be a problem. So yeah, we'll see. But like I said, to wrap it up, it's the mix of both.
What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, I do agree with that. It is a mix of both. The one thing that stood out to me about the Jets was their run defense. I thought their run defense was excellent against us last week. It was like, I texted my buddy, he was like, this run defense is tough, man. There's just no space when you try and run the ball against the New York Jets. But
And
at the same time,
Zeke goes 16 for 80.
But then at the same time, it's like, then the Cowboys did what they did this week. So, like, I don't know what is real yet, to be honest. But if you were asking me which one is real and I had to put money down on it, it'd be the New York Jets defense, because that team is something. That defense is something. It looks like something. Again, we don't really know yet, but I'd say the Jets defense is just really good. We'll see about the Pats offense. So, like you said, there's blips every once in a while where you're like, oh, that could be something, but they
can line up and normally, this time last year they averaged like 6 offensive penalties a game, all pre-snap. So at least that's not happening, right? That's a sign in the right direction.
Their scheme should be running the ball, and it's like, I feel like it's just the game's been getting away from them. When the Pats are great, they can run the ball and they stuff it down your throat, and that's how they beat you. Like you've said it already, Ray. The play action, that's how they beat you. If they can't do that, man, they're in trouble. And like when they have to play catch up, Mac's not the quarterback to play a catch up game. So like the fact that they're 10th is passing and 20th in rushing, I think is alarming, because it's like, that's not how this team is gonna win football games. So it can be encouraging, but like
you're preaching to the choir here. And there's anyone that's been screaming about running is important. It's yours truly. I know that people, everything is, oh, you gotta throw the ball now. Okay, but I'm like, over here, Route 1, Patriot Place, the run should start to pass here. It's not the other way around. And that's always been the case. Even when 12 was here, it's like Corey Dillon, Kevin Falk, the law firm, even when he had this run, shout out to Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, like whenever they've had guys that can move the sticks on the ground, they've been much more formidable. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. So
the Patriots, they move up to 1-2 after picking up a 15-10 win against the New York Jets. Again, their 15th regular season win. The Jets have not beat the Patriots in regulation since the 2010 divisional playoff game in Foxborough. I'm just gonna let that one sink in. Okay,
that's sick. That is disgusting.
Moving on to what I believe is going to be a bleaker discussion after we talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We're rolling into Dallas, or is that in Gillette, or that's in Dallas, right?
It's in Dallas. It's in Dallas.
Yeah. So the Patriots get on take on what should be the 3-0 Dallas Cowboys. Turns out they're actually 2-1 because they ran into an offensive juggernaut of Josh Dobbs and that Arizona Cardinal offense, where
fucking stupid. So
Dobbs looked great. James Conner looked like he just got drafted back in Pittsburgh. Michael Wilson was incredible. Bobby, what the fuck happened to the Cowboys?
I don't fucking know, man. I don't have an answer for you. I really don't. So I was obviously very emotional on Sunday.
No.
Like you should read some of my string of texts. It's like, this is the same bullshit. I can't believe I fell for it again. It reminded me a lot of the Denver game 2 years ago. If you guys remember, it was the same thing, and all of a sudden they just fucking hit a brick wall, and it was like, what the fuck just happened? And then last year, the Jacksonville game or the Houston game, it was the same thing where it's like, it's just so disheartening, man. And it's like, so a couple takeaways. Obviously, power rankings later this week. We'll really dive into this deep and really get into the nitty gritty of what the hell happened here. But the 2 takeaways for me is Dak Prescott is mid. That is period. He has moments that he stands out. He has moments, that he looks like he could be a franchise quarterback. So those whoa moments that I was talking about. But along those same lines, like, you do need to make those big plays. But if you're going to be an elite quarterback, you can't make the fucking plays like he did at the end of the fucking game. That was an unacceptable interception. And at that moment, I sold my Dak Prescott stock. I'm if he leads me to a Super Bowl, great. That's amazing.
Well,
I will love him forever. I don't see it. Yeah, I can't see it. This is a trend now. This isn't like a, if this, when this no. Big spots, man. He makes bad decisions and they're bad turnovers. They're bad. They're not just like, I can see what you. No, you can't. I can't see what you're seeing there, bro. I had no idea what the fuck you were seeing on that play. No idea. The other thing is the defense. All right, listen, the run defense was the problem last year, problem 2 years ago, big problem yesterday. They were gashing us. But at the same time, okay, you lost your CB1 on Wednesday. Your game plan's already implemented. The CB2 know what he has to do. Everyone already knows what they have to do by Wednesday. Like that, they're practicing it. That's what their game plan is. All of a sudden, everything. I think it was Thursday, wasn't it? It was Wednesday or Thursday. They just go down, ACL tear, worst possible news, and it's just like everything changes on that game plan, and they look lost. The defense looked lost. Gilmore looked lost. They didn't look like they knew what they were doing. I'm not panicking yet because obviously that's like a very big deal when you lose your star corner.
So you think not to pour
if they
salt in the
lose,
wounds here.
If they lose, I'm panicking.
Not to pour salt in the wound, and then I'll just ask Ray this: you think that because of the sudden shocking loss of Trayvon Diggs, that's why the Arizona Cardinals were able to run the ball 30 times for 222 yards?
No way.
Yeah, because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It,
I mean, I guess
it does change everything, though. It changes everything.
It changes things to an extent, but if you're telling me that Michael Wilson turned into Aaron Cronk or Larry Fitzgerald, okay, you got me.
Sure.
Okay. You got to have something out there because he changes the game. Got you. Michael Wilson made some plays, but he wasn't out there. Like he didn't become Aaron Cronk. Hell, he wasn't even Steve Preston. Yes, if that's a name drop for y'all too. He was a 1,000-yard receiver back in the day. He wasn't even on Arizona yesterday. So
it was the year they had 3, right?
Exactly. So crazy offense that year, but excuse me,
not this year.
Not this year. No, but I just to say this because I thought this was hilarious, so I gotta put it out there. There was like someone was like, "Oh, the Cowboys got beat by the black Zach Wilson," and I fucking lost.
That's so insulting to Zach Wilson. It's so insulting.
No, you mean to Joshua Dobbs.
I mean, it might be insulting. I don't know which one it's insulting to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've heard black Zach Wilson. I've heard black Ryan Leaf. It's too much. So that hit with Zach Wilson, that really that's hurt the cake. But I mean, I just think once again, I said this to you off the air. I thought what happened yesterday to them was going to happen I thought the Jets were going to do what the Cardinals did yesterday. Pretty sure if Aaron Rodgers was there, because Aaron Rodgers does have their number, they probably would have won last week. Probably. With Aaron Rodgers. Probably. That's just what he does down there anyways. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just one of those games, just like how you said a few weeks ago about the just being a build. I just feel like it's an any given Sunday thing. And I keep telling folks there's nothing, especially with the NFL. Basketball and baseball is a little different, whatever, but in football, nothing is ever guaranteed. And I know this because me and Mike are fans of the team that's supposed to be the greatest team of all time. There's nothing that's guaranteed. Anybody on any Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, and eventually later on this year, Friday, because the NFL is trying to get every day of the week eventually. It's just you can lose. And it doesn't matter who's out there, it doesn't matter the game plan. It's just like, look, we're gonna line up. Our scheme is better than your scheme this week, and that's just what it is. Every focuses them for sure. It should, anyways.
There was a point in this game, Bobby, where my heart actually almost went out to you because Micah Parsons got up
almost
very slow. And I was like, "Are you telling me that they're going to lose?"
No, that's the bear
Parsons and Diggs. And well, no, he was holding his arm. I'm like, "Oh boy, oh."
I would have died.
But No, the reason I asked that question is, listen, if things goes down, you would think that if a team had, even if it was the Jets, that Zach Wilson would have thrown the ball 40 times, and he would have thrown it all to where Diggs should have been, right? But this was precision or tactical passing by the Cardinals. I mean, Dobbs was 17 of 21. And again, he had one big play, and it was to Michael Wilson. It was one catch for 69 yards. So, but it was the run defense, which was I think every team has a mulligan. It feels like the Cowboys mulligan could be against the Cardinals for this year, unless they lose to the Patriots. Yeah. However, Bobby,
the sky's on fire.
Is it fair to say that if Dak Prescott has 40 or more dropbacks, that you believe that their chances of winning have exponentially decreased?
Yeah, 100%. Because it's the same thing as the Patriots, man. When the Cowboys are beating the Cowboys, they're running the hell out of the ball. We're seeing Pollard 24, 25 times. Deuce is getting a couple carries. Rico's getting a, but like explosive runs. He looked all right, but like it just didn't feel like the same offense. And like in the red zone is really what worries me, because it feels like they stop running the ball once they get to the red zone, and like that's the route to losing for the Cowboys, because when they get into the red zone, man, it just feels like they get away from everything, and all of a sudden it's just fades to CD. It's just outs to this guy, outs to this guy. I just feel like they're mentally weak, man. That's what it comes down to, and it felt different. It really did, but like Craig said, you were gonna get it at. He's right. Yeah, they just feel so weak, man. And I hope I'm wrong. And like, I know I overreact to every Cowboys loss, but like this was a really bad one. And it's like, I thought this was the year that like they had a very high floor because of this defense. And like, I really was blindsided by this. Like I was under the impression that like it would have been unacceptable to lose this game or to win this game by 3. That's where I was at. Like, if you win by 3, that's even unacceptable. And they lost by 12? You lost by 12 to fucking Josh Dobbs after winning. What was it? It was 70. What was it? The 2 weeks? 70-10, I think was the score after 2 weeks, or 71-10 for the Cowboys. And then you lose to this goddamn team. It's so unacceptable, bro.
To be fair, sorry, Mike. To be fair though, like that Arizona team is a historical second half away from being 2-1. Like, and once again, they're not a good team.
That's true.
And, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like they play the NFC East very well. Now they're gonna get smoked by Philly, whenever they play them later on the skip. But let's be honest. But it's just like, they clearly are up for the NFC East right now. They're like, look, we are giving you our best punch. And Jonathan Gannon has them playing really well. And they're saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, y'all think that Caleb Lewis is coming here? Well, watch this. We're gonna play our hearts out, and that's what they're doing right now. Once again, they may not win much, but they're playing hard, and playing hard will get you 5 to 6 wins in the NFL if you execute. And that's what happened. It was too many times they set off a field goals, in Dallas, and that's
2 weeks in a row.
That's the biggest issue,
Right. Do you think the Cowboys fans are overreacting to this loss too much, or were they overreacting to the first 2 wins too much?
Well, I mean, as I have family members that are, Bob is in my family, but some other family members that actually live in Texas.
Thanks,
bro. They were texting me saying, "What the fuck's going on?" I'm like, "I said, you know what time it is?" I'm like, hey, they be on my head about what's happened in the last couple of years, so. I didn't say much to Bobby yesterday, but I made sure I said something to them. I said a picture. I said, "Damn!" I said, "Dak throwing with 3 red shirts around him. Like, what's going on?" I said, "This is pathetic." I said, "It might be time to go hit up Sweet Georgia Brown. That's a restaurant down there." I said, "Might be time to go to Sweet Georgia Brown and get you a dinner and enjoy the rest of your Sunday." But yeah, I definitely think it was overreaction. Once again, it's Daniel Jones and. Who was the other quarterback? Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Wilson, bro.
Come on. So it's just like the white one.
That's right.
Fine.
So Bob,
I couldn't pass that up. But
That's a joke that only Rayshawn can make.
that's so good,
Right.
so good. But yeah, definitely a mix of both. And once again, it's like I think they were overreacting as far as talking about how good the offense maybe looked. Because some people still say, I'm like, no, it's really the defense that's carrying. Let's give the credit where it's due. At some point, your quarterback has to win you games. And yesterday,
Same conversation, man.
was on a silver platter for Ford to come through. And as he has shown, once again, he's had some games where you're like, okay, like, all right, he came through. I mean, we have to go back. I hit one moment for him. I think about that game against Pittsburgh years ago. Actually, I really was Zeke. Zeke's the one that scored.
That was the Zeke game. Yeah,
but,
no, that was a Zeke
but
game.
I mean, but Dak did his thing in order to get him to that point, and then Zeke brought it home. But yeah, I mean, listen, that's any fan base is going to overreact when they're 2-0 and they look that dominant. So I don't blame them for that. But you would think by now they would learn to pump the brakes and say, you know what, let's just try to play week by week and be 1-0 every week. You would think.
Would you, Ray? Would you? You think so?
You would think. Yeah. You would think. But I know my brother and my cousins down there, like, they're not going to. It's okay. So I'm ready for Sunday. I can't wait to Sunday though. I can't wait.
Me either. Let's see me go.
All right, Bobby. How do you think the Patriots defense stacks up against what you've seen from the Cowboys offense?
I'm a little worried about it, to be honest. I think you guys match up well against us because you guys are the type of defense that does well against us, and that's a bend, don't break. You guys are okay with giving up drives and giving up 3 points on any given drive, and the Cowboys will willingly take a field goal on every single possession, it seems like. So I think if the Cowboys don't get those red zone woes out of the way, I think I see a lot of Brandon Aubrey this coming Sunday, 100%, because it just seems like if you have a defense that latches down like the Patriots team they do inside that red zone, I don't know the actual statistics on it. It's just by eyesight. I think you can do well against the Cowboys. I really do. That's definitely their weakness. And as long as Dak Prescott isn't playing up to his caliber that he can play at, it's going to continue to be our weakness. So that's where you guys target, and I think that's going to be a big weakness for us this coming week.
It also feels like Ray, like the Patriots, what we've seen over at least this year so far is that they can mitigate the run. Like they're still going to allow like 100 yards rushing or 120 yards rushing as a team, but they can still take away your top threat.
Yeah.
So, based on what you've seen so far from the Cowboys offense, can the Cowboys rush as a team for 110 yards and CeeDee Lamb not be a factor and still win this game against New England?
And we keep seeing 37, which is our kicker, Chad Ryland, then yeah, I feel like find a way to score. But yeah, I think we could find a way to contain CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb is super talented, but I've seen what he did against Garrett Wilson and Christian Gonzalez. I've seen what he did against Tyreek Hill, and I've seen what he did against AJ Brown. I think he had a little more issue with Devontae Smith, so I feel like with someone who's really shifty and quick because he's a bigger corner, that might give him some issues. But other than that, he's holding his own, and I'm hoping that Jack Jones comes back because once again we saw what he did last year when healthy. So the secondary in New England is very good. Like even missing D-Mac is very good. I don't know. We have enough speed on the second level, meaning with the running back. So that might be an issue, but I'm hoping this is a Keywon. I'm hoping this is a Keon White coming out party. I hope that he shows why we got. He's had a good start to this year, but I feel like this could be a game where he breaks loose and gets a couple sacks. Yeah, I do think he's a beast down low. It's just a matter of showing that. But yeah, hopefully, this defense doesn't. I mean, the offense doesn't click. Me and Dallas on Sunday. Knowing our luck, this will be the game they get right and score fucking 40 on us. Because
I was gonna say,
honestly, that's just how it goes. Oh yeah, they had this issue, they had that issue. Oh, Dak Prescott was 29-36, 345, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Tony Pollard, 22 rushes, 115 yards.
This feels like
it happened Sunday. It totally happened.
All right, so Bobby, I'm gonna ask you the same question, and then I'll give my take. Let's just assume that the Patriots do to you what they do to every team, right? And they mitigate the rush and they shut down your number one, which is CeeDee Lamb. How do the Cowboys beat the Patriots offensively?
Honestly, that's one of the bigger problems right now is the secondary weapons have been a huge letdown so far this year. Brandon Cooks hasn't done much. He missed a game already. And Michael Gallup still isn't Michael Gallup that we remember. We lost Dalton Schultz. Like, I like Ferguson, but he's not setting any worlds on fire. So, like, that is the pathway to beat the Dallas Cowboys is you shut down Pollard, you shut down Lamb, and you make them rely on those secondary, the secondary targets. I'm not sure if they haven't showed me so far this year. It's so funny. Like, I came into this week with no doubts about this team, and now I just have so many. If you can shut down our primary weapons, that's the way to beat the Cowboys, and that's what we saw this past week. I mean, CD played good, Pollard played great, but it wasn't something that set the world on fire, and it wasn't like a game that they won by themselves, like we've seen in the past. So, like, if you can make them rely on Cooks, on Gallup, on Ferguson, on these secondary players, that's the way to beat the Cowboys. And I don't have an answer for you. I really don't. I don't know how they beat them without one of those two guys going off. If you can contain those two, you have a very good chance of beating us, unless the defense does something crazy. That's the other path, is like the defense picking Mac off 3 times and Parsons forcing a fumble or two and things like that happening. But again, I don't know if that's the first 2-week defense is the Cowboys defense or last week's defense is the Cowboys defense. So, like, I'm really in the middle here, and those are the 2 ways. I just don't know how likely they are. I think we need to rely on Pollard and Lamb to win this game coming up. I do.
Yeah, listen, I think that if the Cowboys put up the exact same offensive stats against the Patriots as they did the Cardinals, where your team rushes for 180 yards, Michael Gallup goes for like 6 for 100 or 6 for 90, whatever the hell it was, and Brandon Cooks is healthy enough to just shove it down Bill's throat one more time, like, that's probably the way to win, right? Because I expect CeeDee Lamb to have a 5 for 48 game and no touchdowns. Like, that's what I would expect now. If that doesn't happen and he goes off and has 7 for 120, then it's a wrap. But the other thing, though, right, is what have you seen so far from the Patriots offensive line that makes you believe Mac will have any time to do anything against the Dallas Cowboys defense?
So a motivated Trent Brown is a lot different for this offensive line.
It's weird how concussions clear up after you get $3 million, right?
Hey, listen, I had the clearest brain possible.
That's weird.
Yeah, real weird, but I think that helps a lot. And obviously, Parsons is going to be on that side a lot. Feel like they're clearly going to scheme him to the other side now against whoever's playing right tackle. If I'm Bill, I'm calling a former Cowboy immediately because he just passed his physical today, and loud calling to say, "Hey, they let you go. They didn't believe in you. They didn't believe in you." Loud, come back down to AT&T Stadium. Show them why they shouldn't let you go, because you was a part of the best offensive line in football, and they said you weren't good enough to stay. So, and even though that may not be true, but that's what I'd be feeding into his brain all week.
Well, then.
But yeah, I'm motivated. Trent Brown is different. Him and David Andrews were phenomenal on Sunday. I watched Evan Lazar's breakdown of what they did on Sunday. It was great. But yeah, if them two are leading the way, and Cole Strange, does well, and Owenu is out there, then they have a shot. The only super weak link is Calvin Anderson, and I feel like Lemon's going to be on that side a lot, and he's going to embarrass Calvin Anderson. And I'm probably gonna have to get a new TV by Monday, because I'm gonna throw my fucking TV, because Michael Parsons is literally gonna just bend the corner like how Michael Strahan used to do a lot, and he's gonna meet Matt Jones a lot before, during, and after the game. Like, it's out of control.
So it's funny, you guys. You sound like what I probably would have said if I wasn't beaten and kicked down from yesterday's game right now. You guys are lucky you're catching me on a Monday after that goddamn launch, because I completely agree. I think Mike Parsons is going to wreak havoc on Mac Jones in this game, because the Pats offensive line is really bad. So, like, that's the way the Cowboys are going to beat them, is getting in Mac's face all day long. I just don't have faith in this offense. to beat anyone at this point. I just don't, man. If the Cowboys are going to be an elite team, it's because of that defense. So the defense
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row in the power rankings as number one. And
bro, they're not going to be number one this week. I can promise.
That's a spoiler. Yeah, love that. Big market tease.
What a prediction.
But my last thing, talking about this game before I asked you about scores and who thinks and everything. Without Trayvon Diggs, right? Is it fair to say that the Patriots' skill position, I'll say, skill, although they're, compared to the rest of the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs, except the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs have the worst skill positions out there, besides Travis Kelce. And it's not even close. But we don't have speed, but we do have situational quickness with Kendrick Bourne, Pop Douglas. Do you think that Ray, that our wide receivers actually match up pretty well now against the Trayvon Diggs secondary of the Dallas Cowboys?
So I think if you get Pop Douglas involved more, because we've seen it on Sunday, right? Even though they didn't call the PI on the Jets, he clearly garners attention out there on the outside. So I think whether you run a few, zig routes with him, run a few out routes with him, maybe even some deep post corner routes with him, I think that, moving him around, they may put Gilmore on him at some point.
Oh, that's a bad matchup for Gilmore.
Once again, as good as Gilmore can be, I don't think that's a good matchup, honestly. But once again, on my team, so it don't matter what they do to him now. So I'm just saying, I'm all for it. But yeah, I just think, you got to get Bourne involved. Like I said, got to get Pop involved. Maybe if Keyshawn Boutte is involved, maybe, if he's going to be active for the game, you see what he can do out there as well. I do think that Donovan Smith, what's his name? Donovan Smith, the safety for y'all, is it Donovan Smith?
Yeah, Donovan Wilson.
Donovan Wilson. He's I think he might be coming back this game too, so that adds to the secondary for them. But that's the case. But once again, I just feel like if you get the ball into anyone's hands, once again, I think that could spell trouble for that defense, and it changes how they defend if that's the case. But we just got to get the ball to them. So we'll see.
Bobby, what do you think? How do our wide receivers match up against your secondary as it is currently constituted? Knowing that we don't have the explosive speed, but we do have people that in the open or can at least create, I think, two people that can create separation, Kendrick Bourne and Pop Douglas.
I just don't know it's really tough for me to gauge a secondary right now because, like I said, they just had to retool everything, man. And I can tell you that Gilmore doesn't look like one anymore. And that without Diggs, it really puts a big hole in our coverage aspect because the Dan Quinn-led defense doesn't necessarily look to lock people down. They look to make big plays, and hopefully you have a lockdown corner that can shut people down, or else you give up big plays. We saw the Cowboys 2 years ago when Diggs wasn't locked out yet, and he was still just, looking to make these big plays. They love to give up 80, 70-yard passes all the time. Last year, Diggs kind of morphed into like this shutdown corner. This year, he legitimately was a top 3 corner in the game. Those first 2 games, he was shutting everyone down. He was making big plays. Like no one was even coming near him. And then also you take that out, man, and it's just, it's so hard to gauge. I think this game would give me personally just like a really better idea of what the secondary is. I couldn't tell you, man. I know that the pass wide.
You're so fucking defeated, dude.
Yeah, I am. The pass wide receiver core isn't great. So if they light the secondary up, if they make it look like we're lost out there, because the secondary did look lost, period. It's a difference between an A+ the first 2 weeks and an F last week. Those are the grades I would give. So like, it's like, I honestly don't know if the Cowboys are in trouble if the Patriots offense actually looked like a real offense. I don't mean I'm not trying to like kill the Patriots here, but like if they look like an offense that can move the ball consistently this next coming week, yeah. I'm nervous. I'm going to be really nervous.
All right, Ray. Final predictions for Sunday.
I'll say Dallas 27, New England 20.
Bobby?
I'm gonna say if everything goes the way it should, it's gonna be like 24-14 Dallas is what I would predict. 24-14.
Oh God. I got the Patriots 24-21. I just think that I think we can do it.
Sad Violet, baby, game winner.
I think we can do it.
House me, baby.
And I truly hope we do it. And then we have this exact same crew here next Monday to dissect. But either way, whether it's a blowout by the Cowboys or a sneaky little win by the Patriots, this same crew, Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan, the real BK Bob Kelly, myself, will be here next week to recap that game. And until next week, we'll talk to you then.
Are you a fan of classic cinema or a young person who wants to discover the best films of all time? Do these legendary movies still hold up?
On the Generation Film podcast, two guys who grew up when movies dominated the culture share a great film with a panel of young movie lovers and see how it plays for today's generation.
We discuss changes in storytelling styles, representation,
The making of each film, its initial reception, and how its meaning has changed over the years.
Join us as we explore cinema classics across generations on Generation Film.
Electricast.
Are you passionate about saving the planet for future generations? Do you want to learn how to do it? If yes, then you need to tune in to the Nature Backed podcast. It's a talk show covering the changing world around us, from renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, circular economy, to ESG and social innovation. Don't miss this opportunity to discover how you can join the movement and make a difference. Subscribe to the Nature Backed podcast today on your favorite platform and get ready to be amazed.
Electricast.